Welcome to round number 4 of the Crank Brothers U.S. Grand Prix of Cyclocross. We are in beautiful South Boulder. This is Harlow Platts Park, and it turned out to be an incredible venue for today's racing as Katie Compton, yesterday's winner in Longmont, is called to the line, and Lynn Bissett fourth yesterday because getting worked over by the Luna Chicks. You can see Katarina Nash right there, and of course her teammate Georgia Gould was the woman we were just looking at, looking very relaxed. Right in the middle there, Mo Bruno Roy of the Indy Fab team. She had a podium performance at the National Championships last year and then a crash right off of the line. Boy, that is tough. And you can see riders remounting their bicycles because there is absolutely not a moment to waste because Katie Compton goes to the front, and who she got with her? No one but Lynn Bissett. And the Cyclo-cross World Rider is really, right now, they're putting too much meat through the grinder on this course as they twist their way and then they hit the run-up right underneath the cliff bar. Inflatable, and Katie Compton doing what she does best, leading it out on lap number 1, and she's going to draw them out here. There is our white leaders jersey, Georgia Gould retaining that jersey from a very intense battle yesterday, and it sounds like Lynn Bissett kind of a silent agreement with that woman right there, Katie Compton, as they come through, and it looks like they are now going to go into the heavy rotation as Wendy Sims is still trying to hold on right there, clawing her way up. Katarina Nash comes through. This run-up was tough. The crowd was building throughout the race, but it wore on riders. We saw Deirdre Winfield really have a breakthrough performance. She would have to be your Rookie of the Year for the 2006 North American Cyclocross season, but everyone's favorite in Colorado, a little scrubbing some speed there and taking advantage of it. Not going to waste a moment. Lynn Bissett puts Katie Compton slotted in at second wheel now. You really do have a feeling that these two are simpatico, working together, grinding through. Not many riders doing that. So Wendy Sims, a wattage cottage right there. Wow, boy, this first 5 minutes, it's absolute pandemonium. Let's catch our breath here. I'm Dave Toll with Velaniz TV, and thanks a lot for joining us. This is our ongoing coverage of cyclocross racing here on the Front Range of Colorado as the Crank Brothers Grand Prix of Cyclocross visited town, Boulder, and Longmont for 2 days of racing. And it's 2 days of racing I think we'll never forget, partly because of the efforts of that woman, Stars and Stripes jersey for the second year in a row. It's been an interesting story. They used to talk about Katie Compton being invisible throughout the season, and she actually was, unless you were racing right here in Colorado. Compton would show up at the National Championships almost unknown and start at the back and take the jersey. She's earned an awful lot of respect, and I think her performance here in Longmont yesterday and right now in Boulder, as there's a Boulder resident, one of the top multi-sport athletes in the world. That is Melissa Thomas. She's also a very competent crosser. She was on the podium at the National Championships last year as well, but back to the front of the race. You can see the wind picking up as the course tape starting to flutter there, and that was the big change from the early going. Later in the race, these two were really glad to be together as they were able to swap poles on the front, really benefited from each other, able to keep the pace incredibly high as they put the rest of the field behind the 8-ball. It really became a race for third place pretty quickly, but let's not go too far forward because Lynn Bissett there starting to look like it's wearing on her. Compton with a look over her shoulder to see the damage that she's done. She sees that Bissett is resilient. They talked to Lynn Bissett before the race and asked her what's it going to take to beat Compton, and she said, I need to suffer more. And it looks like she is suffering more today. Wendy Sims just looks like she's on the gas there as she's starting to get a gap from the Luna Chicks. Katarina Nash, though, you can bet she's going to start trying to reel things in as they seem to be focused on that leader's jersey that Georgia Gould has been holding on to since her outstanding performance in Gloucester. She won one of the days there. This is round number 4 of the Grand Prix, and you can see other riders now using different techniques. That's Jen Gersbach, another Boulder favorite, former University of Colorado collegiate standout. And we had an excellent field, riders coming from all over the country to take to the start today. Should make that all over North America because Lynn Bissett from Knowlton, Quebec continues to hang on to Katie Compton. You get the feeling, though, it's not going to be long before Katie Compton cracks the whip again and solos, and that looked like the moment right there as we take a look back through the group and see riders navigating through this barrier section. The crowd support was really urging the riders on as altitude was once again affecting riders like Mo Bruno Roy coming from Massachusetts, but back to the front, and Bissett came back. So Lynn Bissett living up to her word. She clearly was suffering more today through that section. Bissett shows that she really was one of the more powerful road riders for a better part of a decade on the international road scene. For a long time, she was ranked inside the top 10 for UCI international women's rankings. We're looking at a chase there. These ladies are starting to find a rhythm, it looks like, as Wendy Sims has got Anne Trombley, 2000 Olympian. She represented the United States on the mountain bike at the Sydney Games. All these ladies chasing the duo. And there's Ann Knapp, another rider with an incredible ride. Knapp starting at the back and ending up inside the top 15 in Longmont, winning the Adidas Most Aggressive Rider Award. But today, boy, it's going to be really hard for our panel of judges to sort out who is our most aggressive rider. Katie Compton is just always aggressive, champing at the bit at the start line. She wasted no time at all. As we look back at lap number 1, Compton took Bissett with her, and those two have been building the gap. We understand the split right now back to the chase has gone over 35 seconds, and now it's every woman for herself, as Anne Trombley, as a semi-retired professional athlete, is showing you that she really is one of the best engines in the field, as she's gone up inside our top 6 now. And interesting to see this deep in the race, the way Compton is just grinding away. Both of these riders have found a line. There is a groove, apparently, as hard as it is to believe, through the volleyball court there, right by the South Boulder Rec Center. The fans in Boulder were outstanding. It was great to see not only the numbers, but the knowledge and the level of support for riders like Georgia Gould. And Gould now alone, so she has dispatched the rest of the riders. It looks like she's in 3rd place, really trying to hold on to that jersey. Each race, it's getting closer and closer, just a few points separating our leader, Georgia Gould, from Lynn Bissett. So Lynn Bissett, if she can hold on, will increase or start to really close down on that series lead. Just a moment ago, we saw another Boulder favorite. Oh boy, it is just so tough through that section. That's Amy Dombrowski there, another young up-and-coming rider, one of the youngest riders in our race, as she gets sideways through the volleyball pit, but is able to dismount, and she's got the heart of a lion. Good job by Dombrowski for staying on the lead lap, because these ladies are absolutely killing it. The throttle has been wide open since lap number 1, and there you see Bissett, who's shown herself to be incredibly tenacious. I don't know that there's a more competitive rider in the field, maybe outside of Compton. Those two have an amazing amount of respect for each other as well. And we get a look at Carrie Barnholt now, as Barnholt leads this group up the run-up there. Rhonda Mazza representing the Oregon scene very well out here in Colorado. And back through the group, you can see riders turning themselves inside out. There's Sports Garage favorite, Megan Monroe. She's having a great ride. You know, you can look back and see the riders behind you, and when you know that that woman right there was on the podium at the national championships, and you're sitting in front of her this deep into this 40-minute slugfest, well, that's a great ride. Back to the front, Bissett is really, really shocking this crowd right now. There's a lot of people thought that it would be all Katie Compton. Compton has been putting on a clinic in Colorado every race she attends. Now the gap starts to open, a little bit of struggling with the course tape right there. The hypoxia starts to set in. But man, Lynn Bissett is amazing. Once again, she comes back. Tenacity on display. This is the section as the course was split into 2 distinct parts. And right here, you're seeing the backside of the course where they slide through a little gully section, and then they've got the pits. That's their opportunity to change bikes. Not too many riders suffering from mechanicals in this race, though. Katie Compton has stayed on her Primus Mutri lap after lap. She doesn't give up her A bike unless she has to. Riders usually do have a favorite bike. And now we're starting to see the Thorn brand emerging. That's Cyclo-cross World.com cornerstone, Stu Thorn's new brand. And it's now Katie Compton alone, flogging herself like a rented mule right there up the run-up, and the crowd really getting behind Compton. She has an incredible amount of support in Colorado, but how can you not respect the efforts from this woman? And you can see now it's every woman for herself. There was no quarter asked for and no quarter given in South Boulder today. And Georgia Gould has got her teammate coming on strong, Katarina Nash. Katarina living in Truckee, California now, the former rider from the Czech Republic. We'll look back and see Wendy Sims, then Trombley, then Barnholt. So the cream has officially risen to the top at the business end of this race. Back through the tennis court section of the course. Chris Grealish and his crew did an incredible job of putting together a great course, doing pre-publicity, so the entire city showed up for what turned out to be a celebration of not only cycling, but women's cycling here today, as people got a good look at how competitive our women's field is, and the show that they put on was certainly equivalent to the men's event coming up later today. Katarina Nash, Wattage Cottage right there. You can see that she now bogs down, as everyone has been through this section, have to get off that bike and quickly start generating power by running, and that's what Compton is doing this time up the hill. You can see the barriers making it a little bit tricky deep in the race to remount. Will Lynn Bissett? Probably not, as it looks like everyone's going to run this section. Still able to generate enough watts to get up that climb, though, and you can see Bissett goes to the whip, too. And boy, the power is still there. All those years on the bike, the muscle memory is clearly keeping Lynn Bissett heads and tails above the rest of the field. Outside of that woman, going by Sonia Looney of the Tough Girls team. Riders should not be ashamed at all of losing a lap to the best in the world. We're projecting Katie Compton as a very possible world champion later this year in Belgium. And Compton right now is honing her craft at round number 4, the U.S. Grand Prix of Cyclocross presented by Crank Brothers. It had been an amazing, amazing race. Everyone now starting to realize that the Compton is gone. Katie Compton then comes across the finish line and goes back-to-back in Colorado, and that is what a lot of people expected. The pressure was on Katie, and she delivered. You could see how the crowd was swelling at the finish line, but the Primus Mutri Spike Rider delivered. Bissett had to dig deep in a pain cave on the final lap, but she got second place points, and that's a testament to the tiger that is Lynn Bissett. So Lynn Bissett finishes up strong. I think she went about as deep as anyone possibly could, living up to her promise to suffer more, and because of that, she holds off Georgia Gould. Georgia Gould rolls across the line, and our officials will be calculating whether Gould will hold on to that leader's jersey. It's getting closer.